So I would like to request the participants. Yeah, to please be careful about the attendance link, and it would be posted in the chat box. You need to put all your detail the way you have registered in the Atal portal. So please be careful that whenever you are registering or giving your attendance, that has to be just like your registration details that you have provided while you were registering in the Atal. So the email address and except others should be exactly same, just the way you have done while registering for this FDP. I would also like to remind you that the attendance would be active only from 3 to 3:30 or only for each and every day. So please be careful about that because it would not be activated after that or beyond that. And yeah, I see few people are writing their email address here. Ma'am, you need not write your email address right now. It would be posted in the link. It is actually a form that you would get. You need to fill the form in order for getting the attendance for that particular day. So you need not write anything right now. It would be posted around 3 o'clock, and until 3:30 it would remain active. So you need to be careful and fill it up every day. Now this is important because we have 80% requirement for receiving the certificate along with your performance in your exam, which will be conducted at the end of the FDP or the last day, in fact. So there you need to have 60% minimum plus your attendance, which would be counted, which should be at least 80%. So this is the criteria for the certificate that you receive for the FDP. So I request you to keep, take a note of this because the active, particularly the attendance form would not be remaining active throughout the day. It would be only, open for a specific window time. So that's very important to note. Yeah, I would request all to please be patient and wait a little bit. So our uh, speaker is joining very soon.
Yeah, hello.
Madam, sir has already joined.
Yes,
Shubhasri
sir.
madam.
Yes. Yes, sir. You're
But I
audible.
cannot share my screen.
Okay. So can you see a green button at the
No,
bottom?
but I need some permission.
All right, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. It would
Okay,
be
now it's okay. It seems it's showing now. Let's see.
right.
Uh, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, then it's fine. Okay, is it
So
visible now?
yes, sir. It is absolutely visible.
Okay, then it's fine.
All right. So can we begin the session now?
Yes, sure. I'm ready. I'm sorry for the delay. Actually,
That's
there was some
absolutely
problem, the connection problem, because we need some password and email ID. So I got it at the last
right.
moment. So thank you very much.
No
Please.
problem, sir. All right. So very good morning to all again. So I would like to welcome all to the first session of the day, the first session of this entire FDP, which is a 5-day long Atal FDP on evolving role of AI and ML in the state of the art research and development, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Engineering and Management. I would like to express our gratitude to our guest speaker of the occasion for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion with your distinguished presence, sir. We are privileged to have among us today our guest of the occasion, Dr. Uma Padopal. Dr. Uma Padopal received his PhD from Indian Statistical Institute. He did his postdoctoral research at INRI, France, January 1997. He is faculty member of Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition of Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. At present, he is a professor of CVPREU. His field of research interests are different pattern recognition problems like digital document processing, optical character recognition, camera and video text processing, biometrics, document retrieval, keyword spotting, video analysis, to name a few. He has published around 435 research papers in various international journals, conference proceedings, and edited volumes. Because of his significant impact in the document analysis research, in 2003, he received ICDAR Outstanding Researcher Award from International Association for Pattern Recognition. In 2005-06, Dr. Paul has received JSPS Fellowship from Japan government. In 2008, 2011, and 12, Dr. Paul received visiting fellowship from Spain, France, and Australian government, respectively. Dr. Paul has served as he is serving as general organizing chairs of many conferences, including International Conference on Document Analysis and Recognition, International Conference on Frontiers of Handwriting Recognition, International Workshop on Document Analysis and Systems, to name a few. International Conference on Pattern Recognition will be the first time in India in 2024 under his leadership. He is the founding co-editor-in-chief of Springer Nature Computer Science Journal. He is serving as associate editor of many journals like Pattern Recognition Journal, ACM Transaction of Asian Language Information Processing, to name a few. He is a fellow of International Association for Pattern Recognition. Also, he is among the top 2% scientists in the world listed by the Stanford University in 2020. Sir is going to speak on pattern recognition today. I once again wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Over to you now.
Thank you, ma'am, for brief this introduction about my achievements and some other information. So good morning, everybody, and I'm sorry for some delay because of the network problem. Anyway, so I heard that this FDP program, I think that same participant of the earlier FDP is there, right? So in that case, I am thinking that I don't know whether you have remembered all the things what I have discussed earlier. So I'll just briefly tell you about this, and then I will come to the main part. So that you can those idea what I have given earlier. Okay. So as you know that I'm planning to give the talk pattern recognition, but pattern recognition is a very vast area. There are many things. So basically, I am planning to give the talk on some of the important areas of pattern recognition. Maybe that will be helpful to you instead of giving the actual subject on pattern recognition. I know that many of you know about pattern recognition, so I am not giving from the beginning of pattern recognition, but when I need, I will just discuss on that. Okay. So as ma'am already mentioned that I have many collaboration and also I am organizing many conferences. So this is the slide I have already shown last time that I have many international collaborations. And recently, after the last talk, I moved to USA and also a Norwegian company that is Baby Sensor. So they have started collaboration with me for different academic work. Okay, and this is current scientific assignment. So ma'am already mentioned that one, so I don't want to discuss this one and I will not take time for this. So about the talk, as I mentioned, as you know, the pattern recognition is used in many areas in real life application, right? So everywhere, maybe from medical or maybe health science to agriculture, finance, everywhere, right? So in this talk, I shall discuss some of the recent application of pattern recognition. And next, I will talk about details of DIA, that is one of the important application of pattern recognition. so that you can have some idea about this DI, how DI works, and what are the different techniques generally you work for DI, right? Okay, so let's start that some of the applications. So I think I discussed all these application earlier. So I'll just briefly tell these things once more so that you can recollect those points. So multi-skip document recognition with its mobile application. So nowadays everyone has his own mobile, right? So how you can use your mobile for different document recognition tasks, right? So perhaps I remember that in India, we have many languages. So we use more than 25 official languages, right? Like Bengali, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, etc. So how we can develop the system? For example, if you are in Bangalore, maybe you don't know many of these languages used by this Bangalore or maybe Karnataka, right? So let's say Kannada is their official local language, like in Bengal, we have the Bangla, the local language. So how your mobile can help you to read those unknown language. Okay, so this is one of the application of this DIA, or you can say this is the application of the pattern recognition for getting this idea. Okay. So next one is parcel sorting. So actually, as you know, there are many systems for postal sorting, right? But nowadays, you know that number of postal documents is reducing, but number of parcel document is increasing. Why? Because we are purchasing many things from the online. So every day, you are getting one parcel, or maybe on an average, you are getting many parcels. So sorry. Oh, there's some problem. Hello? Hello? হ্যাঁ আমি পরে ফোন করছি, আমি এখন ব্যস্ত আছি, 11টার পরে ফোন করছি, ঠিক আছে? Sorry. So as you know that nowadays number of parcels is increasing a lot. So people are developing a system for parcel sorting. Maybe you know that system, but I just want to show you once more so that you can know how the system works, right? So let me come back to the. Just 1 second. So here you get some of the chemistry. So you can see this is one of the system that is developed by a Chinese group and who is also collaborating with me with different area, not this area. So you can see that how a robot, small robot, can be used for sorting the parcel. So all robots, there are many robots, and the robots are carrying the parcel, and they are going to the particular destination, and they are dropping the parcel in that particular destination. So these boxes are the destination of the different cities, right? So I'll just show another one, maybe that will be helpful to you, where you can see how the parcels are going like through the belt. You see, so many parcels are going, and then the parcel will be sorted based on the address. And when the address is recognized based on GI technique, then robot will take that particular parcel to the sorting. So each box is, for example, what they have to do. They have to just come and take all the boxes in that particular destination, and they can just send it. That's all. Okay. So that means here there is no human interaction, only a robot is using for this sorting purpose, right? So the most important thing is how you are recognizing the address written on the particular parcel. So that is the most important. Sometimes the parcel may be up, down, bottom, or so maybe you can see that the address is written only one side of the parcel. Okay, so that we have to be careful, because if it is in the bottom side, we cannot read that. But if it is any on the other side, so because we have the camera in different sides, and they can take the image and they can get it. Okay, so that should be the problem for that. But for the solution, maybe easiest solution is, instead of putting the address on the one side, if you just put in 2-3 sides more, then there is no problem. You will get at least one image from there, and so that you can just read and a robot can solve that one. So we discussed this one, so maybe I will not take much time for this. Okay. Yeah, so let's come back for my talk here. So parcel sorting, and another area is that is the most complex part of the DIA, or maybe one of the pattern recognition work, is the handwritten recognition. So you know that different people has his own, or maybe has different writing style. So how system can handle this different style or different handwriting of different people? That is really very difficult, because my handwriting is very different from your handwriting, or your handwriting is different from XYZ handwriting. So how the system can take care those complex handwriting things? Okay, so that is the aspect, one of the area of DIA, or maybe pattern recognition, is the handwriting recognition. And we use this handwriting recognition for different applications. So we are actually working on automatic answer script evaluation. So that means, for example, after the exam, any of the exam in your college or in your university or your institute, you have to evaluate the answers, right? But that will take lots of time from you. So is it possible to develop a system that system can evaluate the answer script for you? Okay. So nowadays, you know, if it is a multiple choice, that is not a problem. Computer can automatically get the score in a minute, right? But when it is not that means multiple choice question, if it is a essay type or maybe short answer type, then how you will evaluate that thing? So that evaluation involves many things, because your writing style, how it is, that means whether it is a clear writing, neat and clean, or also we have to see the grammatical check, and also the language. It's a nicely written language, or maybe language is not very good. So there are many criteria what we generally follow for, let's say, language answer script correction, let's say English or Bangla essay. So how we can do that? If it is scientific paper, we don't see the language, right? But if it is a language type answer script, then we will see the language. So how we can measure those things for your evaluation? So that is an interesting problem. And we have started and we have developed a small system for that. Okay. And also there are many problems, this answer script evaluation. What are those problems? So for example, students may cross out some part, maybe some para, or maybe page also they can cross whole page, or maybe they can just cut a word of the line and put the word somewhere at the bottom or top or right or left side of that earlier word, right? So how we can associate those words with the other words? So there are many issues in these areas. So we are working, and our group is working on that for automatic answer script evaluation. So we have also worked on camera-based heart rate detection. So for example, you see nowadays the medical, that means the pattern recognition community or the medical, they are doing lots of work related to health. So for example, for the heart rate detection, people are trying to use the camera to get the heart rate. So for example, when you are just entering your office, and maybe there is a camera, and based on the camera, everything will be detected. So what is your heart rate, and maybe the oxygen level, everything we can do or we can measure based on the camera. But nowadays we use sensor-based device, but people are trying now to move to the camera-based because now camera is available everywhere. For example, your mobile has the camera. So to get the heart rate, you don't need to any other measure, just mobile. And if you take the image of your face, then maybe your heart rate can be detected, right? But how the camera-based system are used? So I'll just show you one demonstration. Maybe I have already shown. I'm not sure that whether I have shown this one. But to get your idea, I just show you once more quickly. So here, generally we use the facial information for heart rate detection. Okay. So let me go there so that you can get the idea. So for example, this one, you can see, I'm just getting, or our system is getting the facial information. So first we have to detect the face, and then from the face, we are just getting the heart rate. But you can see the heart rate is defined in different time. It depends on the how you are getting that, because this is video based, so every frame it is detecting. And when the frame resolution or maybe the images is changing, your rate is changing. Otherwise, it is more or less stable. It is, but you can see sometimes it's going very high because the image we are taking from this portion is not very visible. Okay? So actually, we use the let's say we have that blood circulation. So based on this information, we are detecting the heart rate information. Okay. So you can just move your hand left, right, top, bottom. So the system can take care of all this orientation. And then based on that, so let's say if you take an image for 10 seconds and you just compute, okay, what is the average score of that? And that will give you, or maybe the mode information of all the heart rate taken in 10 seconds. And that modal information can give you the actual heart rate, and whether it is under normal range or it is beyond normal range, that we can detect it. Okay? So this is regarding the heart rate detection. Similarly, there are many work we have. So baby monitoring. So for example, nowadays, many couples are going for job or maybe they are employed. So they have to go to the office, but due to COVID, maybe many of them at home. But let's say in normal situation, so their baby at home, and they want to watch their baby from the office. If there is some problem, they can get some alarm or maybe some notification in their mobile. So people have started this sort of monitoring, not only the baby, they are also started for the old people monitoring. So for example, whether the old people has fallen in the room or maybe or in the bathroom. So those sort of things, people are doing lots of work. Okay. So I think I discussed these things in earlier class, so I'll just quickly go through, but if you have any question, you can ask me or maybe later, okay? Next one is vision-based sign language interpretation. So for example, the normal people, how the normal people can communicate with deaf and dumb people, right? That means who cannot hear, who cannot speak. So how normal people can communicate with the other people? So there are people are trying to have the vision-based system where some camera will take the image, and deep and dumb people, they use the sign language, right? That means they use some sign based on their finger or maybe based on their hand or maybe facial expression. So camera will take those images and detect that facial expression and hand movement, everything. And based on that, they can detect what these deep and dumb people wants to say or want to say, right? Similarly, uh, based on that information, normal people can know what they want. And normal people also give their instruction, and that instruction can be converted into sign language. So that both ways, that means deep and dumb people can communicate with normal people, and normal people can communicate with deep and dumb people. So this is based on the vision-based system or vision-based technology, and that is based on the technology. Okay. And nowadays the people are doing lots of work about the drone, because drone-based image. So nowadays lots of drone is available. Maybe you can see. In fact, Calcutta police is using drone nowadays. So we are getting the images from drone, and how we'll process or how we'll detect the pattern of different work about the images obtained from the drone. Okay? So people are using drone in different areas. For example, we are using the drone for the car number detection. So for example, let's say in one of the busiest roads, let's say in Kolkata, BT Road, and how many cars are passing. Okay. So how drone can help us to get the clear images, and those images can be used in our pattern recognition or maybe other vision-based technique to detect the number of car, type of car, something like this. Okay. So in fact, we have already detected a system. Maybe I'll just show you one of our system our student has developed. So you can see in the road, there are many types of vehicle, right? So one is, let's say, bus, truck, car, maybe bike, cycle, and also human. So how the system can detect how many human are passing in this area in 1 hour or something like this, or how many bus, how many car are passing. So I just want to show you this system because this is a new system you didn't see earlier. We have developed recently. Let me go there to show you this system. So you can see here. So this system is it is first I will show you the images what we have obtained from foreign countries. You can see in the right side, you can see there are car, bus, truck, auto, there are many things, right? And you can see automatically the type of the car, that is car, and also they are counting the car. And also you can see this green area is the car number plate. They can also detect the number plate, and also recognition can be done on this. Okay. So this is one of the work, that is how we can detect the car. Particular, you can see in the right side, there are many buttons. So car, that means if you want to know only the number of car. If you want to know how many bus, or how many truck, how many auto, bike, cycle, and person. So if you want to just click here person, so you will get how many persons are passing in this road per hour or per day or maybe something like this, or half an hour. It depends on you how you are measuring. And similarly, if you use all, then you can see the system can detect all the vehicle, that means car, truck, bus, and they will mark which one is car, which one is bus, something like that. So let me show you that one. Maybe this is the Indian car number, and also maybe I'll show you the first detection, and that is the images we obtained from the BT road. You'll see here the demo. Yes. Now you can see the car, and maybe you can see there is auto, car, bike. This is also bike. This is a mistake. I know sometimes coming. Okay. So since I pressed all, that means you can see all the count here, right? So now, if I use this one to detect the number plate, that means I want to know which cars are passing. I know how many cars are going in this way. And now I want to know which car, that means what is the car number. Okay, in that case, I have to detect the number plate, and then we can just get the information about which cars are passing in this road or on this road. Okay, so here the students are starting with car, and then he's using number plate. That means car and number plate will be detected, not bus or bike. You see, bike are not detected now, only car. So cycle is not detected. So only car, and this region is the number plate region, so it is detected. And now we have to recognize, but recognition is not a complex task here because we have already system for this. Okay. So we can use this car number plate detection and then number plate recognition so that we can know who is the owner of the car. So for example, if a car violates some rule, then how automatically police can catch the car. Okay. So this is the work. One of my students is working on this, and they use different technique. So one of the technique he uses is the YOLO, but the YOLO model has different versions. So that is a CNN-based approach, and he used maybe YOLO 4. Okay. So, so this is one of the work for the drone base, but it can be done for camera based also. So one of my Australian group collaborator, they are using drone to detect the shark in the beach area, because in that Australia there are many beaches, good or famous beaches. So they fixed drones in different areas of the beach, and let's say now they want to know whether there is a shark or some other animal is there. So how to do that? So they are getting the image, and from the images they are detecting whether shark is there or not. Okay. So if shark is there, they can give some alarm so that the people will not swim in that area of the beach. Okay. So there are many applications for the drone. In fact, drone can be used. Maybe later I will show you the other drone-based application. Next slide, maybe. Anyway, then text-based pose estimation. So that means, for example, this is a very interesting area. So let's say, I want to give an example. Let's say you want a video, and that is based on some cultural event of Kolkata. So is it possible that computer will generate the video? So people are working on that. That means video will be generated automatically based on the information you have provided. That means you are given some text, and based on the text, video will be generated. Or maybe, let's say, a police wants to draw the figure of a person, right? So they will give some description, okay, and based on the description, how to draw the image, or how to painting. Let's say, in fact, we can come to the painting also. So I have given a set of instructions, and based on the instruction, computer will paint. No human interaction. So people have started this sort of work based on the textual information. That means text to video, text to pose, text to paint, something like that. Okay. And nowadays many people are working for the retrieval. So retrieval means, for example, you are always searching in Google, right? So that means you are retrieving something, that is text-based retrieval. But we can retrieve many things, let's say image, or maybe let's say logo, or maybe some other things. So how we can retrieve this one, right? So nowadays, you know that there are many systems are available which can consider the speech information for retrieval. So for example, show me, I am here, just I am asking my computer or maybe my laptop, okay, please bring all the figures or maybe all the images related to tiger. So that means the speech, I'm giving the speech, and speech will be converted into text, and based on the text we can retrieve, or maybe directly based on speech we can retrieve. Okay, so nowadays text-based retrieval is very common. So if you want to use speech, one way is to convert your speech into text. That means speech information can be converted to text easily, and then based on the text we can get that. So for example, I am just showing the slides, right, one by one, right? And I have to click the mouse. So can I use, okay, go to next slide, go to previous slide, or maybe go to the next slide, which is after 5 slides later, something like that. So how to go, or how to get those sort of things? In fact, it is very easy to do that, because only thing you have to detect the sound. That means you are giving the speech, and based on the speech information, so speech is a signal, so we have to process the signal. Based on the signal, you know what I am trying to say, and based on that, you can get the information, or action can be taken based on that. Okay, so many retrieval things can be done based on the pattern recognition. So I'll come to the pattern recognition part later. Just I want to show you some application as I shown some of these earlier. So brain computing. So now people are using the EEG signal. So based on the EEG signal, they can say about the behavior of the person, or maybe that means that many measures can be obtained based on the EEG signal. So for example, a person is under tension, or he is relaxed, or many criteria you can decide, and the EEG signal can tell you about this. So how we can do that? I think I have discussed these things last class, so I am not taking much time on this. So just to get the information, the brain, we can take the signal from different parts of the brain, and that signal can be analyzed, and based on that, you can get the behavior of that particular person in that particular time. So behavior can be changed from time to time. And same thing, the EEG signal will also be changed based on that. That means EEG signal will reflect your tendency or behavior. Okay. People are doing lots of work for social media images. Nowadays, you can always use many things, right? We use Twitter, Facebook, many things. So we can get image, we can get text. So how we can analyze the textual information or image information to get defined behavior? So one important aspect of social media information is abnormal behavior identification. So for example, whether a person is normal or he has some other abnormality, how to decide based on the message or maybe based on the text he is sending to you or maybe image sending to you. Okay, and that will be very helpful for the society because you know that the behavior of the people and you can avoid those people, something like that. So medical image analysis is one of the important area, as I mentioned earlier, where we use the pattern recognition, lots of pattern recognition information. So medical image, many medical images everywhere, X-ray, we can use CT, we can use MRI, many image formats is available and people are working on those areas. In fact, we have a collaboration with Oxford and where we are working that whether we can develop a system and that system will tell you or alarm you whether there is a possibility of heart attack of a person. Okay. So that means your system will tell you automatically, okay, there is a problem. So maybe there is a chance that there will be some heart attack. Okay. So there are many areas for the medical image analysis and people are working on that. Other areas is biometrics, object tracking, robotics, and also the computer vision or vision-based techniques. So you know robots are helping a lot in our society or in our daily every day we are using robot in some of the areas. As I mentioned you that parcel sorting, how the small robots are helping us. Similarly, robot can be used for cleaning the room. Robot can be used in other areas also. I will show you one interesting area I have seen in Japan. That means robot is helping automatic book access in the library. So what do you mean by that? So for example, if you go to the big library, then you have to search the individual book. Okay, this is the accession number of book, and you have to go there. You have to search there, and then you have to collect the book, and then you have to bring to the front desk so that they can issue the book, right? So actually, I have seen the system in Japan. They have developed in Kyushu. Kyushu is one of the bigger part of Japan in the what we can say in the southmost part of Japan. So that in Kyushu province, so there is a system in the library of Kyushu University where they use the robot to access the book. So how the robot will help us? So for example, you just give the accession number of the book. The robot will go to the particular zone, and then it will take the book from the track, and then it will bring the book to the front desk, and then front desk will issue. That means there is no human being. The robot will take care of everything. Similarly, when you will give the return, then also robot will just place the book in the particular place in the library. Okay. So that is automatic library book accessing can be done from the robot. So you know many areas where the robot can be applied. Okay. So biometrics, we use lots of biometrics. We use fingerprint, signature, iris, many biometrics, and a lot of work. In fact, biometrics is a very old topic, and people have developed or people already developed many systems on that. So that is also based on pattern recognition. So similarly, signature verification and writer identification. So for example, how the system can automatically verify whether this signature is from you or it is from others. Okay, so that is the signature verification and writer identification. So for example, you have written something and now you are denying that you didn't write that, right? But how to know that, okay, it is written by you only? So now the people have developed system for writer identification based on the image and pattern recognition technique. So for example, in India, there are many languages and we have developed a multi-script writer identification system where we can say this one is written by writer number 1, this one is written by writer number X, something like this. Okay. So how to automatically detect or identify the writer for a particular or from an image of a text writing, right? Fraud detection. So nowadays, you see, we are using so many electronic gadgets, and also we are getting so many problems in the fraud, right? So one type of fraud that can be handled in pattern recognition is, so for example, you have a document and some parts of the document has changed by some other, right? So how to detect that this is a fraud? Or maybe you are using some images and you just change that image, some little part of the image, and you are claiming that this is your image. So how to detect this sort of fraud based on pattern recognition technique? So people are doing lots of work on this. Similarly, photographer identification. So you know, everybody of us or each of us are taking lots of photographs, right? And now, let's say I am taking some photographs from some other people and from different places. So how to identify that this photograph is taken by X, not by me? Okay. So it is a really challenging work because there are so many parameters for this. It's not that easy to identify whether this photograph is taken by me or some other people. Right? So people have started to work on photographer identification, and similarly, family, non-family photo identification. So there are lots of photos. Let's say in your device there are many photos. How to classify the photos? That classification can be done. Maybe let's say family photo, non-family photo. So family photo means it is my own family. Non-family means it is not related to my family, some other family. Similarly, you can classify the other images also. Okay, this is my images regarding my office. This is my images regarding the tour. How to classify? There are techniques. People are developing the technique for automatically identification of different photos, and that will be helpful to classify in different class, and that will be helpful for your easy access, right? Okay. So some new areas, these areas I didn't discuss earlier. So I'll just quickly give those things now, and then I'll come to the main part. So vehicle type and speed detection. So as we know, we have already shown that our one of our work that where the vehicle, different types of vehicle, that means car, bus, bike, cycle, can be detected. Along with that, person also can be detected. Okay, but how to detect the speed? So, for example, you know, nowadays in Kolkata, many roads there is a device that can detect the speed, right? So this is a well-known problem and more or less solved problem. So automatically speed detection of the car, right? So that can be done by computer vision based technique. So people are working on vision people are working to detect the speed of the car based on the camera. Okay. So as I mentioned, automatic library book access. That means when you have a robot, that robot can be used in many areas. One of the area is library book access. So I didn't, I already mentioned this one, so I will not take much time on this. So as you know that automatic car driving is a really challenging problem and lots of work has already done. In fact, some automatic car driving things is there in US. But if you think that automatic car driving in India, so we need lots of time. Okay. So what are those problems for automatic car driving development system? So there are many issues, right? Because proper navigation of the road is the first criteria for the automatic car. So that means first you have to decide whether the front road is clear or there is some obstacle or maybe some other thing. So how to detect those things? Anyway, so there are many issues for automatic car driving. So people are doing lots of work on that. And that is based on pattern recognition and also computer vision. Okay. So I will not give much details on that, just to some application on this. So surveillance. So there, nowadays the people are using many cameras in office, home, everywhere, in airport, common shopping mall, or other common places, right? So how to get some information from them? Let's say we are taking image or maybe the video after video, right? And now I want to know from this video that whether this a system, or maybe let's say I want a system where we can detect the abnormal people, or maybe the people who are who has some abnormality during walking or something, how to detect those. So since you have a continuous video and you can analyze the video and you can automatically decide whether a particular person has abnormality in his walking or not. So how to detect that one? So abnormality walking means, so for example, when we walk, we just follow some normal way, right? But when there is an abnormality, so people will just go and come and maybe left, right. So he will just move around in such a way that it is not normal for us. And that can be detected based on this camera, and also the pattern recognition technique can do that. That means we can track the people and we can track the path the people has moved, that can be also detected. And based on that, we can automatically detect whether the people, particular people has some abnormality or not. Okay. Next one is text or image-based emotion recognition. So for example, as I mentioned earlier, that we are getting many text in the Facebook or maybe other social media, right? So how we can detect the emotion of the sender based on the text you are receiving? Or maybe he is uploading some image in Facebook or something. How we can get the emotion from that particular picture? Okay. So people have started this sort of work, that is emotion recognition based on the images or maybe textual information he is receiving. So earlier I just mentioned that text to when we need when you have a text, how we can use this text for generation of the image or generation of the video. So actually, for this work, we need several other areas, for example, natural language processing. So we have to understand the text. We have to interpret the text, and then only we can generate this image or video. So how to understand the text, what it is written, and what will be the generation? And that totally depends on the text. So we have to understand the text properly, then we can generate this. Okay. As I mentioned you, there are lots of areas where we can use the drone. So another application of the drone is the forest and agriculture application. So for example, tree counting. I want to know in this forest how many particular type of a tree, let's say X tree, is there or not. Okay, so we know the criteria or the properties of the tree, and we use these properties of the tree from the images, and then we can just count. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to know that how many coconut trees there in the particular region, right? So we know the behavior of the coconut tree. So we use that behavioral information. So we have the image of the coconut tree. So if you have the image of the coconut tree, what we can do, we can compute some features of this coconut tree, and that features can be matched with the other trees. And if there is a proper matching, we will say, okay, this is the coconut. Then you can get the count. So let's say you want to count the animal in Sundarban, let's say, or tiger in Sundarban. Okay, so if you have, but if it is a dense forest, it is difficult. Otherwise, if camera is there, and let's say tiger is going from one place to another, then you can easily detect how many different tigers based on their size and shape. Okay. Similarly, we can just detect that area of cultivation estimation of some area, different cultivation, let's say paddy. What is how many acre for this year there is a paddy in this particular area, something like that. That can be used by drone also. So a lot of work with our daily applications can be done with this pattern recognition technique. So another one is graphology. So I am not sure whether I have discussed these things earlier or not. So graphology is a subject where, based on your handwriting, we can get some behavior of that person, right? So you see, we detect the person behavior based on the text or images he has uploaded in his, let's say, social media. So this is another area. But graphology, if you write something, and based on that, we can know the behavior of the people. So, in fact, there is a subject. Graphology is a subject, and there are some people who are expert in graphology. Is the graphologist. So, graphologist can analyze the handwriting, and he can tell about the behavior of the person based on the handwriting. Similarly, is it possible to develop a system what graphologist will do? That means graphologist will analyze the text. Similarly, computer system can also analyze the text. In fact, we have a system. You can just, if you see, this is the link. If you work on that, so you just copy and paste in your browser, and then you will see. And maybe I can just show you this one. Let me check. Okay. I'm not sure whether I have shown this earlier or not, but still, I will just show you here. Okay. So I can use this one. Maybe See here, I think you are getting my screen, right? So I hope it is visible. So now we can see this is the instruction. If you just run that link, and you can see to analyze, so select a character. So you can write, in this system, you can write a character. But graphologist will see the behavior of the each of the character you have written. So here we will analyze character by character. So select a character. To analyze the writing, there are two different options. Either you can just upload an image, or you can just write the selected lowercase number in this box and click analyze. And then you can clear if you want to clear that written, and that will help you to give the feedback of our system and to know about the behavior for a particular question. So how we can do that? So just I remove the instruction and I am writing something, let's say A, and if I write here, you see I am using a mouse. It is not a good one, but it is better to you just write on a piece of paper like that. So you just write here and then take the image and upload here. Then we can get the actual writing from your side, because mouse will not give you the exact writing from your side, right? So now if you analyze, then it will say something about my characteristics, okay? So you see, this person is cooperative and likes care and respect. So this is one of the properties of the people who has written this type of A. Okay. In fact, you can just put if you agree with this or if you don't agree about this. Okay. So that we can know that what is the accuracy of our system. But here we don't store any information from you. So we don't know who has written and whose behavior is this. So you can just easily write without any problem, and we can get the data and we can test our system, how our system is working. In fact, based on our data from different countries, we received so many data of this system, and our accuracy is about 75+%. It's about 77, something like that. Okay. That means in 77% cases, it can tell about the person behavior properly. Anyway, so this is the graphology. That means based on the handwriting, how the behavior of a people can be detected. Okay. So complex document segmentation, that means there are lots of complex documents. So how to analyze those documents? Okay. So one sort of complex document is, let's say, answer script. So when the student writes the answer script, they use some graph, some table, some cross out, many things, and also lines are not written properly horizontal, maybe it is carved and so many things. So how to handle those sort of complex documents for recognition? Okay, and for recognition, you need segmentation sometimes, and you may not use segmentation, but segmentation-based system is easier for recognition. So complex document segmentation is really a challenging problem. So people are doing lots of work on spotting. So it is like a retrieval thing. So for example, as I told you that how to retrieve the related images of a tiger. So retrieval and spotting is actually spotting is the image base. So when you have an image, how to know that, okay, so for example, I am giving the logo of ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, right? So how I can get the related document of the ISI? So what spotting will do, it will match with this ISI logo with all the images you are supplied. And from there, it will retrieve those images which has the proper match with the logo. So similarly, spotting can be done not only on the logo, it can be different data. it can be symbol and other related things. So symbol spotting, other data spotting, logo spotting, maybe particular image tiger or maybe coconut or maybe apple or banana. So many images you can use and you can get the spot. Okay, and another area that is based on the document related, that means DI related thing, that is form reading and invoice recognition. So for example, when you open a bank account or something, still people are trying to have that online. We use some sort of forms for this, right? That means we have to fill up some forms. We have to write the name, email, everything. So how to read that form? So for example, there is an advertisement for a job and so many people has applied, right? So how to read those form or those applications without computer, with computer without any human interaction. So how to do this? So these are the, actually this work started earlier, but when the problem is very complex, that means the images is noisy and it is a very complex image, then this sort of work, earlier work is not still working perfectly. So similarly, invoice recognition. So for example, in company, there are many invoices. So how to recognize the invoice? What is the date of the invoice? What is the amount of the invoice? So how to recognize those? And there are many works, as I told you, the text detection from images and videos. So how to detect the text, how to know what it is written, and how to analyze the type of the images or the video where the text is there. Right? So for example, if in a scene there is a text, you can know what about the scene because it is written. We can analyze the text and based on that we can know this is regarding the image. Right? So we need to detect the text and then we need to recognize the text, and based on the recognition things we can know about the image or about the video. Right? So these are some of the areas. And now I will come to the parts of the pattern recognition and particularly document image analysis, where we will have the idea of how pattern recognition works. Okay. So as I told you, I will just give you the idea about document image analysis part of the pattern recognition. And if necessary, we will take some idea from the pattern recognition and I will tell you those when necessary. Okay. How much time we have? Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so as you know, the document image analysis is an area under pattern recognition, and it deals with only documents, right? And documents may have a complex type. Document may have graphics, images, many things, but still it is document. So DIA or document image analysis is the process that performs the overall interpretation of document images. Okay, that means how we can know the content of a document where document is available in an image format, not the text format. Okay, that means our purpose is from that image we need to recognize the text and then we will get the recognition, right? And based on the recognition result, we can interpret in many ways, right? So for example, one interpretation is a document containing many languages, let's say Bangla, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese, many things. So how, if I ask my system, how many different languages is there? So how system will answer? The system has to know the different types of the text present in the document. So what do you mean by different types? So Bangla if you see the Bangla characters and if you see the Hindi character, there is a lot of difference. Or maybe if you see Bangla or Hindi and English, there are lots of difference. So how we can get this sort of difference based on the pattern matching technique to say that this document contains these many languages, right? So this is one of the interpreters. So we'll tell you how to do this thing. So some of the areas of the document analysis is the textual processing part and graphical. So that means where there are some graphics, where there are some things, right? So for the text part, that can be two ways. That means one will be the printed text, other will be the handwritten text, right? So we use basically OCR, optical character recognition, that OCR can recognize handwritten and printed text. So we can have OCR for printed text, we can have the OCR for handwritten text. But if I ask you one simple question, how to differentiate between printed text and handwritten text? So maybe you will say many ideas. So you can see the printed text are very regular. That means size will be same, spacing will be equal, but in handwritten is a lot of varieties or variabilities. So you can easily detect this is printed, this is handwritten. So again, if it is printed, that printed document may have only one script, or maybe they have many scripts, right? Multi-script. So how to decide this is only one script document or multi-script document? So if it is multi-script document, how we will handle that? Okay. So there are many issues. We'll tell in maybe next day about this. So next one is graphics processing. That means when a document or when an image contains some text as well as some other images or graphical parts, how to know which part is graphics and which part is text. So there are many techniques to identify this one based on the pattern matching technique. Perhaps you know the component leveling, right? So component leveling means you have the component, individual component, the connected component. Maybe you know connected component leveling. So if you see the connected component leveling program, then you can see that if it is a drawing or maybe the graphical part, the size of the graphical part is bigger than the text part. Okay. So that component leveling information help you to decide whether it is a graphics or text. But sometimes it may fail when the component has smaller size or a graphical part has smaller size, then it may confuse that, okay, this is a text. But we can have different system for that, for automatically text separation and the graphics part separation. This is one of the aspects. So similarly, table detection. How computer can know this is the table, and how computer know this is the text. Okay. So why we need to detect this one? In fact, our idea, the document BIA, not only that interpret the things, we can generate also similar documents. So for example, I have given an example of a page, how to generate the similar page. So if you want to generate the similar page with the table or some other information, so we have to know where is the table, where is the text, where is the non-text. So if you can decide those things, then your task is easy. That's why we need to detect where is the text and where is the other graphical part like table and other things. Okay. So as you know, there are many applications for the GIS system. Perhaps earlier I have mentioned the reading aid for the blind. So for example, today one blind man to read one book, right? But blind man, how he can read the book? So it's possible. Today's in scenario, it's possible because the blind man can take the book like this, and he can know that okay, this is the first page or something, or maybe if I show them okay, this is the first page, maybe he can then know what is the second page, third page. He can just proceed one by one. So he will just put the first page on the scanner. Then scanner will take the image, and that image will be processed, and then we can just so that after processing we will get the text. Then if we just generate the speech based on the text, then blind people can hear. So we can develop a reading system for the blind. So AI system can be helpful for the blind. So similarly, for example, automatic data entry into computer. So automatic data into computer means, so for example, you are writing a research paper. So you have to type all the things to the keyboard. But instead, if you just write your paper on the your research paper on a white paper like this, your handwriting, and then you scan the page, and then you just convert into text, then it will be easier for you and it will be faster. Instead of typing here, your writing will be perhaps faster than those. And if you write, automatically this one. So instead of writing, also people are thinking, okay, we will not write or we will not type. We will just give the speech information, and based on the speech information, we can generate the text. So for example, I'm just saying, this paper deals with, so automatically based on my speech information, you can see the automatic text will be appear in your screen. So that is the speech processing. That means you have to process the speech. You have to know what he is telling, and based on the output, it can generate the text. Okay. There are many other areas that postal mail sorting, bank check processing, automatic answer script. So you know, and also AR writing. This is one of the new areas. AR writing recognition. That means you don't have to write on a piece of paper. You just write in the air. Okay. So if you write in the air, automatically that portion will be recognized and it will be stored in your computer. That means you don't need any pen or paper. You just write here. Okay. I just want to show you on demonstration. Maybe I have shown these things earlier. I'm not sure. But the thing is, when you write in the air, first you have to detect the fingertip. So that is the pattern recognition technique or computer vision technique to detect that. But this is very difficult because the fingertip, when you write, it may match with your facial because this color and your facial color is color of the head is similar. So then it will confuse, but you have to be very careful how to detect the facial image. For example, if we can detect the palm, right? So let's see one demonstration what my students have developed. Okay, let me show it here. Okay, so this one, you see, my student has developed a palm detection technique. You see, the palm is detected. Even if you rotate the palm, and also if you move your hand through your face, the palm can be detected properly, right? You see? And now from the palm, if you just detect the finger, and if you just detect the top of the or topmost point of the finger, and that finger can be used as a pen tip, and based on that, you can just know the sequence of points, and that sequence of points will be the input of your system. So then you will get sets of points. You see, the student is using not only a single palm, maybe two, and still the system is detecting. Right? Okay, so it's more or less a robust system to detect the hand and also the palm and also the finger. Okay, so people will also so based on this finger, I will just show you another demonstration where you will see that AR writing. Maybe you can see here. You see, this student is now writing using finger. You see, he is using his finger, and then he is writing based on the finger. It is R, and then after writing, it is T. Can you see? Maybe it is too fast. S. You see, the S is recognized. So it can recognize based on the movement of the fingertip. It is like a pen, and that information, as I mentioned you, this is our system takes as an input, and based on that we can decide whether it is a particular character or not. So this is the AR writing recognition system. Okay. So for AR writing, this is a new area also, and we are working on that, and there are many applications for the AR writing. Okay, so I just want to give you, there are many important journals and conferences for document analysis and pattern recognition. So for example, IJDR, this is one of the journals. Pattern recognition, perhaps you know, this is one of the good journals for pattern recognition community. IEEE transaction on PAMI. So pattern recognition, that is PAMI, pattern analysis and machine intelligence, and also there is a journal called PA, pattern analysis and recognition, and pattern recognition letters. Sorry. So, and also there are several other IEEE journal and non-IEEE journal like ACM language processing journal, CVIU, computer vision and image understanding, system man cybernetics, that is IEEE transaction, SN computer science, SN AS, IEEE CSBT, etc. Many journals are there. Many conference related document analysis. IGDAR is one of the best conference for document community, document analysis and system, IWFHR and ICFHR, and also ICPR, CBPR. So CBPR is one of the toughest conference for the computer vision and pattern recognition community. So many other, ICCV is there, WSCV is there, NIPS there. So many other conference related things are there. There are many books and many pattern recognition books are also there. So maybe I will not go through that. So this is the block diagram of the document image analysis, but it is similarly, we can say the block diagram of pattern recognition. So pattern recognition, we have to get the image, and based on that image, we will have some sort of pre-processing. Then we will compute the features, and then after features, we will go for classification, and then if necessary, we will go for post-processing. So this is actual pattern recognition thing is feature extraction, classification, and post-processing. So these are the three important parts of pattern recognition. But in addition to that, you can have some post-processing, and that post-processing, it depends. If it is DIA, different post-processing. If it is in pattern recognition, other pattern recognition, so different post-processing. Okay. So for document analysis, the main pre-processing areas are binarization is everywhere, it is common to pattern recognition, but some people use, instead of binarization, they use the gray level or maybe color images. So similarly for DIA, we also need binarization. We need the text graphic separation, as I mentioned you have to know which part is text, which part is non-text. We have to know the skew correction. That means when you are reading a page, right? So generally we just put the page, the line in horizontal manner, right? But if your page is like this, then we cannot read comfortably, right? So we just have many trouble to read this sort of page, right? So even if this is the normal page, if you write 180 degree, even it is very difficult to read, right? So how computer can automatically detect and correct those things? So that is the skew correction. Similarly, if there is a noise in any patternization problem, you have to clear the noise. Then in document processing, you have to segment the line, word, and character. And then the same part is for pattern recognition. That means we have to compute some features. We have to feed them with a classifier, and then, if necessary, we will do for post-processing. So pre-processing, post-processing, in between there are two steps in pattern recognition problem: feature extraction and classification. Nowadays, the people are using the deep learning, where specific feature extraction you don't need. You don't need to explicitly compute the features. The system will do that for you. Okay. So this is for the block diagram of the DIA. Then I'll come to one of the most important part, that is the text graphics separation. So how we can separate the text part from the non-text or graphics. Okay, there are many techniques. In fact, this is a very old problem. People have mostly solved this problem nowadays. So one technique is people are using a run length smoothing algorithm, or RLSA. That means you have to smooth the image in such a way the graphics part will have the different behavior and the text part will be different behavior. So what do you mean by RLSA? RLSA is run length smoothing algorithm. So run length means, so what do you mean by run? So run is nothing but the sequence of the same character. So for example, here, this is the consecutive occurrence of 5 zeros. So this is a run of 0 of length 5. This is run of 1 of length 5. This is run of 0 of length 2. This is run of 1 of length 3, something like this. Okay. So we know the run and we know their length. And now we smooth. What do we mean by smoothing? So for example, when you have an image with some salt and pepper noise, so we smooth the image to remove the salt and pepper noise, right? So similarly, when we see the run, and if we see there is a very small run of 0 or 1, we remove that 0 run to 1 and 1 run to 0. So that after smoothing, so for example, this is the original run, this one, and after this, you are getting this. After conversion, we are getting this one. You can see here, this 2 0 is not there. That means it is smooth. Similarly, this one, or maybe this 0 is already smooth there. So this is after conversion, we are black to white smooth. Similarly, we'll make it white to black. Okay, that means if there is some 0%, 1%, we'll just remove that. So 1 is the white, 0 is the black here. Okay, so white to black means some 1 will be make it 0. And you can see this is the original image, and last row is the smooth one, where you can see number of run is decreased and the length of the run increased. That means we smooth the image. So if you do the same thing for this input image, the first one is the input image horizontally, then it will look like that. If you do the same thing vertically on the horizontal image, on the input image, it will look like the third image. So first image is the input image, second one is the smoothing horizontally, third image is the smoothing vertically. And now if we take the intersection of this second and the third, you will get this fourth one. And you can see this big black portion or patches correspond to the graphical path in the input image, right? And now if we remove this big patch portion from the input image, you will get the fifth image, which is the text part. So you can easily remove that. Okay. So this is one of the method for the RLSA based method for text classification. But nowadays people are using deep learning. So when you have a sufficient training sample of different types of graph portion, you train the system. Okay, this is graphical part, this is the textual part, and then the deep learning automatically can separate this graphical portion and the text portion. Okay, so what do you mean by the training in the deep learning, right? So let us consider a simple example. So when the young kid, let's say at the age of 3 or 4, go to the school, so the teacher asks him or her to write a character A several times, right? So in fact, if you just remember in your the beginning, when you go to the school, you just write A several times, right? Everyone. So not only you, I have also written same thing. Sorry. So that means you are writing A several times means you are getting trained about the character A, right? So similarly, the machine is also being trained based on this images. So let's say I am asking the machine, okay, this is A, this is A, this is another A. So that means machine can also train based on the different samplings of the A. Right? So if the machine get the information, okay, this is the A, this is the B, this is the C, the machine can also isolate it or identify which one is A, which one is B, which one is C, like human, right? So we initially trained by writing A several times, B several times. That means we already trained, we know what is A, what is B. And if I ask you, okay, what is this character? You can easily say, okay, this is A or B or C, something for specific class. How will say that? That means you are matching the graphic, the shape, let's say, shape of the image with the stored sample. That means you know A is like this, because if you see, if you consider A, then your brain is thinking, what is the shape of it? What is B? What is C? What is D? Something like that. So when you are giving a character, you just match this character mentally with the stored character in your brain. And you are telling this is the character, right? So you see what is happening actually. Actually, there is some matching problem. Where we are matching? So we have in our brain, we have the stored template of every character. When you are shown, okay, what is this character? You are just matching this character with this stored character in your brain. And based on that, you are saying, okay, this is A, this is B. That's why if I show you a Chinese character, you cannot say. Why you cannot say? Because in your brain, it is not stored, right? That means you have not shown that Chinese character earlier so that your brain can remember what is this. Right? That's why, similar to this thing, this brain processing, how the brain is processing this one, computer can also do the same. Okay, so that means computer can get the pattern or extract the pattern from the images and store. When you have unknown pattern or maybe input pattern, computer will try to match and say, okay, this is this one with some probability or maybe confidence level. So if the confidence level is 0, that means that images is not stored in his brain earlier. Okay. So that's why when we are planning to recognize or identify or maybe recognize a particular pattern, we need the AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. So what do you mean by AI? So you see, all are interrelated. So when you are telling about pattern recognition, it uses AI. When you are using document processing, it is under pattern recognition and also use AI, right? So artificial intelligence, that means we are giving computer some intelligence artificially, right? So artificially means maybe through program. Let's say nowadays we are writing C, Python, many program, right? So how we are giving this information artificially to the computer? So for example, if I ask a computer to identify whether it is A or not, let's say just a single character A, what it will do actually? See, A means there are two slanted lines, right? One is left slant, another is right slant, and there is a horizontal line at the middle. So this is the basic set. And now computer will match this set with its stored template. So how computer will match actually? Computer cannot match. So we have to give some knowledge to the computer artificially. Based on this knowledge, computer can match. So how will give the knowledge? We can give this knowledge in different ways. One way is to program. So let's say you know the program, right? So you know a high-level program, low-level program. There are many programs. So let's say C language, which is a high-level program. That means we use some computer programming language to give the knowledge to the computer. So how we will give the knowledge for the character A? So A is nothing but, let's say, 3 lines, 2 slanted line, 1 vertical horizontal line. So we'll write a program in C or maybe Java, or maybe Python, that whether these sort of lines are there or not. So how we detect the line? So line is nothing but a consecutive pixels. But consecutive pixel means it is a line. But if it is slanted line, so the direction of the line will be different. This slanted direction will be different. This line, the horizontal line direction will be different. So if you can write the program for this, and if you just feed this program to the computer can understand what is it, right? So the same thing we are doing here for recognition of different objects in pattern recognition. So different characters for document analysis, different object recognition for pattern recognition, right? So we just analyze the pattern. What type of pattern the input image has? Based on the pattern, we try to recognize. So how we recognize? There are many ways to recognize. First, we have to get the pattern, that is the features. So we need to compute the features. So that features can be computed in different ways, right? Anyway, so actually idea in pattern recognition is you have the pattern. From the pattern, you need to find some features. And that is the most important part of the pattern recognition. When you have the good features, definitely you will get the good recognition. So what do you mean by good features? That means those features you can explicitly compute for this particular object so that this feature may not occur in other objects. Otherwise, it will confuse, right? Then you will have very good accuracy in your pattern recognition. Okay. So similarly, this one. So, for example, different graphical object is a pattern. So if you can decide, okay, this is the graphical object, this is another object, you can just feed this graphical object different for your deep learning architecture, where it will be trained, the system will be trained. And based on this deep learning architecture, Now you can just use for testing, and it will automatically identify different types of graphical. Okay, let me check how much time I have. Oh, sorry. I already can I continue 5 minutes more and then I will stop for the next, or I will stop now?
No, sir, you can continue. No problem.
Okay. Because I think my talk was up to 11, right? So participant,
Yes.
it is fine. Yeah, then I will just continue maybe 5-10 minutes, and then I will go for the next.
Okay, sir.
Maybe Thursday, right? Maybe 23rd. Yeah. Okay. So this is regarding the skew detection. That means how we can know that document has skew or not, right? So what do you mean by skew? That means when the text line is not horizontal or not vertical, it is some sort of angle. So that angle can be easily detected. There are many techniques for that. Okay. So these are all pre-processing technique, like in normal pattern recognition technique. That there are many pre-processing noise removal, as I mentioned you. So here, this is one sort of noise. Let's say skew is, if you can remove the skew, your recognition rate will be higher. That's why we need to detect the skew from the images. So there are many detection techniques based on the histogram, based on the piecewise histogram, Hopf transform, nearest neighbor, many techniques are there. I will not discuss many things. Just I will give you one idea that horizontal histogram. So what do you mean by histogram? Let's say our image is a binary image. So you know binary image. Binary image has only two values. One is for the white part or background part, another is the written part. That means foreground part we call. So two values, let's say 0 and 1. One is, let's say, for white, or 0 may be black. Or if you want to say 1 is black, 0 is white, that is also fine. No problem. You can decide. Two values are there. Maybe 1 and 100 or 1 and 200, no problem. So if you have two values, that means you know which one is the written part, which is the background part, right? And then if you take the histogram in horizontally, then you can see in the text part, the histogram has some good peaks and valleys, little bit. And between two lines, there is a very high valley. So based on this peak and valley information, you can easily identify the lines, right? So when there is no skew, then this sort of histogram help you. But if there is a skew, that cannot be helped. That's why you need to correct the skew before this sort of simple line segmentation technique based on the histogram. And you can see how many lines are there. Because if you see the peak and valley, the valley region will give you the line segmentation, and you can easily detect the number of lines. So similarly, you can just detect the number of words. That is, if you, instead of detecting the histogram horizontally, you just detect vertically, and that vertical histogram will give you the words, and then you can segment the words into characters, right? But there are many problems for the segmentation because, for example, in Bangla or Devanagari, the characters are touched through headline or matra, right? So how to segment that one? But even in English, you can see here, every character is isolated. So there is a white line between two characters in English, if it is not touching. But in Bengali, normal case, the characters are touched to headline or Sirurekha, similarly in Hindi also. So how to segment that one? But there are many techniques. So these are old techniques, no need to discuss. So there are techniques to segment the words and words to character. But nowadays, because of the deep learning, people don't segment the words into character. So they can go for recognition word-wise or even line-wise. There are some techniques nowadays, they proceed for line-wise recognition, right? No segmentation. And that will be helpful because if there is an error for segmentation, that error will generate for your recognition. So instead, it's better not to go for segmentation. Okay. So people don't use segmentation and they just go for recognition. So you know, we know the state line, right? What is state line? If you have given 2 points, if you join those 2 points, you get a line. So that is a state line for you. But in images, the state line is a bit different. That's why we call digital state line. What do you mean by digital state line? So it is not joining of 2 points. So if you see from the leftmost cross to rightmost cross, if you join, then maybe you can see many of the cross will not passes to that point. But in our normal state line, all points on the line will be on the line, right? But that means if you join 2 points, then all the points in between 2 lines will be on the straight line, but here may not be. So there are some difference between straight line and digital straight line. So this is the definition of the digital straight line. So there exists a run of pixel at most 2 directions which differ by 45 degrees. You see, there are 2 different directions. D1 horizontal, D2 is slanted, 45 degrees slanted. At most 2 directions. So we have horizontal and D1 and D2 direction. So for run of 2 directions, the run length in one of the direction is always 1. You see, this is 1. That means in D2 direction, the run length is only 1. But in D1 direction, and the run length in other direction, that means in D1 direction, can have at most 2 values differing by unity. That means if it is 3, it should be either 4 or 5. Okay. 2 or 4, because for a particular run, it will be just n and n plus 1. Okay. So this is the definition of the digital state line, and that can be used in many applications. We will see later where you will use. Okay. So the digital state line can be used to detect many digital or state line part of the object or pattern in pattern recognition. We'll see how we'll use in different parts in the next topic. Anyway, I think I should stop here today, and I'm sorry for the delay at the beginning, but maybe in the next class I will take a little more so that I can accommodate all the things here. Anyway, so just to say about conclusion that today just given some of the application of pattern recognition, and I just have given a very brief on document analysis technique. But in the next class, we will give on details about the pattern recognition as well as BIA technique, where the different aspects of pattern recognition has been used. Okay. So with this, I should stop here, and I'm sorry for the delay. But if you have any question, I will be glad to answer, or you can send me by email as well. No problem. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any query, you can go ahead and ask sir, or you may also write in the chat box.
Yeah, you can also, if you have any suggestion, that will be very helpful. So any comments, suggestion, question, everything is welcome here.
Sir, in the chat box, there is a lot of word of appreciation for you, very informative sessions. And as you can see, everybody has enjoyed thoroughly the first session of the day. I see Okay, yeah, there is one more information for all the participants. Now you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question to sir. The permissions have been granted to all. So in case if you have any query, please go ahead and ask question to sir. You can unmute yourself. Or else you can also write in the chat box.
Yes, no problem. You can. I'm just looking the chat box, so you can write here if you have any
Right.
questions.
Right. So we are waiting for the questions to come up. I request all to kindly write your queries, or you can unmute and ask the question.
No, I didn't see any question here.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Yeah, it's okay. So maybe in the next class,
Right.
if you have anything, you can ask me. No problem.
Absolutely. So, sir would be taking up another session. So, in case you have any query which comes up to your mind, you can keep it, intact and discuss it in the next upcoming session as well. So, so with this, we come to the end of the first session. Thank you, sir, for taking our time and explaining us beautifully the various real life applications, the parcel sorting and automatic graphological and many more. Sir has beautifully explained us the use of DIA systems in how it can help, the blind to read or to understand what is there in a document in that way. So it was a real enlightening session, sir, and we are also looking forward for your next session. And the participants have really flooded the chat box with appreciation, and I personally enjoyed the session a lot. So thank you, sir, for your time, and we are really looking forward to learn more from you on the pattern recognition in the upcoming sessions. So with this, we come to the end of the first session, and thank you for your valuable time, sir. And since
Okay.
this time it is, yes, sir. So since this time it is a virtual FDP as we are here, online. So we would like to present you a certificate, sir, as a token of appreciation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir, for your
I'm looking forward to see you on Thursday.
absolutely. We are eager
Oh.
to see or learn more from you
Uh,
next day again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, so I'm leaving now then. Okay.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
So